Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by KIRK.
What's up?
We're looking at the Canadian lads. I found 7 new details in Spider-Man No Way Home IMAX 4K trailer. So naturally, with IMAX having a taller format, it's going to introduce more details. Having watched many Marvel trailers in theaters recently in the IMAX format, I've noticed that there is special formatting for those trailers.
Yeah.
Because they'll have the widescreen, traditional 35mm look, 235. And then within Marvel films, there's like 3 different aspect ratios. There's the taller IMAX, which I believe is how they showed Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, and then true IMAX, which is the full like 4:3 format or whatever that format is.
Huge.
It's huge, yeah. And I know that with Eternals, just from the trailer, I think they explore all 3 formats: the widescreen 235 and the taller IMAX format, and then full IMAX. So anyway, I found 7 new details. This is from the Canadian Lad. Thank you, the Canadian Lad, for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciated, and very much looking forward to the details you have uncovered here. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Here we go.
That's a really cool,
Hey
intro.
everyone, I'm the Canadian Lad, and today I'm going to give you 7 new details that I found after watching the Spider-Man No Way Home IMAX trailer. In this version, because of the aspect ratio, we can see a whole lot more of the screen, therefore giving us an opportunity to dig deeper and find more hidden details. But first, I'll take exactly 60 seconds to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Raid is a really completely and big players with one energy in your inbox's backpack next 30 days. Number 1. In my previous champions in game, rewards can be found in your inbox for the next 30 days. Number 1. In my previous breakdown, I told you how Peter may have lost his backpack, which is why he's using his books as his pillow. Now, Peter does have a reputation for constantly losing his backpack in the MCU.
I need a new backpack. What? I need a new backpack.
But in the IMAX version, we can clearly see Peter's backpack there, so he didn't lose it just
okay.
yet. And I like how Peter chose his chemistry book, to build up his chemistry with MJ. Number 2, in the scene where Peter is being interrogated by the police, we all assumed that this character in the white shirt is in fact Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock. But the IMAX version shows us that Sony didn't play any trick, and this is not actually Charlie Cox.
Yeah,
it's
we
the same
saw
police
that.
officer who has now taken off his jacket. And I totally take the blame for this. I mean, my breakdown of the trailer stands at number 1 in the world in terms of views. So technically, I may have spread a wrong theory altogether. However, I will double down on this that even though this actor is not Charlie Cox, but I still believe he's gonna be in the movie. And I'm not even making this up. My sources and almost all the scoopers have reported that Matt Murdock will appear in the film.
Just because that actor is not Charlie Cox does not mean Charlie Cox is not in that scene doing that action. They could have shot it twice with 2 different actors.
True.
It's entirely possible. Marvel is known for doing that just to throw off the scent, like what they did with Infinity War famously, where you saw Hulk in the trailer, but really it was the Hulkbuster.
Right.
And Hulk, because we all know what happened there.
Yeah.
Just not as Daredevil, that's all. Number 3, the scene where MJ is lying on her bed. The IMAX version gives us a much clearer view and even better perspective. For example, take a look at this detail. MJ has a book about the US history right by her bed, which aligns perfectly with her nerdy character. And in my previous breakdown, I told you about this particular photo where MJ is posing along with a lot of pigeons. This photo was of course taken by Brad Davis way back in Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I told you about that already, but notice there's another photograph on the wall where Ned and Brad can be seen together. So in all honesty, Peter would hate to see this wall in MJ's room. Not only does she keep a photo that was taken by Brad Davis, but there's literally another photo where Peter's own best friend is posing with his nemesis. Number 4. Now, this one is one of my favorite details that I spotted in the IMAX trailer. But just to give you a better perspective, let me take you all the way back to Spider-Man Far From Home for a minute. At the end of that movie, because of all the fighting and chaos, the Black Dahlia necklace that Peter had bought for MJ was broken. But MJ said she likes it better because it's broken.
He gave me this.
No.
Black Dahlia. Like, the murder.
Sorry, it's broken.
I actually like it better broken.
Notice in Spider-Man No Way Home, MJ somehow found a way to fix it and is now wearing it. She left out the pieces that got broken and put the rest of the pieces together to be able to wear it.
That's a
This
nice
is
detail.
just beautiful, isn't it? In the original trailer, however, we were not able to see this due to the aspect ratio. Number 5. It has been established that for some weird reason, the entire Sanctum Sanctorum is now drowned in snow. Now, in one of the set photos released by Sony, we can see Peter, Ned, and MJ are all looking at something or someone above them. But notice the background background here. It's filled with snow. This confirms that Peter will take Ned and MJ to the sanctum at some point in the movie.
Oh,
in another
wow.
set photo, we can even see them in the same basement where Doctor Strange's spell goes wrong. Number 6. When we get introduced to Green Goblin's pumpkin bomb, I proved it to you lads already that in this scene Dr. Octopus will appear as well. I've given multiple proofs to back my claim in my previous breakdown, so make sure to watch it again. Now I have spotted one more clue to prove that this scene of the pumpkin bomb and this scene of Dr. Octopus are taking place at the same time on the same bridge. Notice the concrete pattern on the road on both sides. It's literally the same.
Yeah.
Therefore, proving once again that Dr. Octopus and Green Goblin will appear together in this scene. Hey lads, Sony
Wait
just
a
released 2 new
second.
photos.
They could be on the same bridge, but at different times. But then if they destroyed the bridge, then the bridge is destroyed. Okay,
I mean, there's all kinds of confusing things that happen during trailer cuts. You remember in Eternals when they showed the hitting the Earth, and then they cut to destruction, and it looks like an asteroid hit the Earth and unleashed mayhem. It's entirely possible they're cutting together 2 different moments, and it looks like the same moment, and even the details overlap, but there's all kinds of...
from Spider-Man No Way Home, and this one pretty much confirms what I just said. But it looks so goofy. I mean, why is the CGI so bad? Something tells me that this is a screenshot taken off of a video. Let me know what you think though. And notice the motion blur on Spider-Man's arm. It really indicates that this is in fact a screenshot. Kinda surprising given the fact that it's been officially released by Sony and Empire magazine. And why is Peter running away from the fight in the first place? I mean, we're talking about a guy here who disobeyed Tony's order in Infinity War and literally went to space. That implies that the threat is so dangerous in No Way Home that Peter is running away from it for the first time in his life.
Regarding the CGI looking funny or whatever, I don't put too much stock into magazine covers. They have to Photoshop it or do things to it. They got
the image.
They got to doctor in a particular way to fit the magazine requirements or something like that, or they're trying to do something in particular. Yes, it looks a little sketch, but
yes.
I mean, I think that the film is going to look better. So it's a magazine cover. I don't put too much stock into that.
Maybe this shot is not even in the movie, and Sony just released it so that we can make thousands of memes out of it and give them the best marketing they can get. Number 7. When Tom's Peter is in the Feast facility running after a villain, notice the IMAX version gives us a much better view of his suit. We can now see the claw marks on his suit. This is heavily indicating that one of the 6 villains in the film will be the Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, aka Andrew Garfield's universe. And that's it. These are all the new details I managed to find in the IMAX trailer of Spider-Man No Way Home.
That was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's confirming a lot of stuff that I think we already kind of knew.
That was cool. I mean, the biggest takeaway was, I guess, MJ's necklace.
Yeah,
really,
that was something that I hadn't really
I forgot about it. We only watched the Far From Home once.
Yeah.
So that detail about the necklace, I completely forgot about until he mentioned it. And the taller IMAX revealing who the guy is that's slamming down the papers, that was also like just a confirmation, but I think we've known that for a while.
We have known that for a while, and like you said, we've been to IMAX a few times recently to watch some new releases in the theater, and we have seen that trailer, and I saw it for myself, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that part and going, oh yeah, definitely that confirms that is not Charlie Cox.
This is why I always try to encourage people to watch these films in IMAX if possible, because once it leaves IMAX theaters, you're not going to get to watch it in that format again. No one is doing what Christopher Nolan has done, not even with Mission Impossible, when Tom Cruise was scaling that building. When it came out on Blu-ray or even 4K Blu-ray, they didn't give you the taller format for the IMAX sequences, which is very frustrating to me. It's like, but also it creates that brevity so that you have to go watch it in theaters. You have to experience it like that because it's the only way. If you're someone who appreciates seeing the full scope of what they actually did, that's the only way to do it.
Right.
The interesting thing to me is, like, okay, so I remember the advertisement for Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. That's why I brought that up. Because IMAX has 2 formats. One that is just taller, that's, I guess, like 16:9 or a little taller than 16. I don't actually know what that aspect ratio is. But if you go to your average AMC IMAX theater, it's not actually true IMAX format. It's just taller.
Yeah.
You're not getting nothing though, because the IMAX resolution is so much higher. IMAX all around is just, it's so much more crisp and more detailed. It's a lot nicer to watch.
The sound is great.
Yeah, the sound is pretty dope. But if you want the true IMAX experience, you have to find a true IMAX theater. That being said, most of what I have seen or noticed from Marvel films or just Disney in general is that if you watch something in your average IMAX theater, you're probably not missing out on much because they're catering more to that. There was a handful of shots I remember for the Eternals trailer where it took up the entire IMAX screen.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that many. Most
True.
of the IMAX shots were just taller and not 235.
Yeah,
Or,
and
239 as it is now.
And the ones that were shown in like full IMAX were mostly the scenes in space. So you just get that feeling of like the expanse of
scale of it,
space,
yeah.
and how big it is and how beautiful it is.
So if you watch Eternals in a regular IMAX theater that's near you and not true IMAX, I think you'll be all right. You'll still get a very, very awesome experience.
Yeah.
And so probably same with Spider-Man No Way Home. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell icon as well, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you enjoyed what you watched. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.